History, as we're taught it, is a straight line. It's a steady, predictable march of progress. From early hunter-gatherers, to the first farmers, to the grand empires of antiquity, and finally, to us. Each step is just a logical progression from the last. But what if that line isn't as straight as we think? What if, scattered throughout our past, are objects that just don't fit this neat story? Artifacts so advanced, so sophisticated, they feel like they've been dropped into the wrong time period. These are the glitches in our historical matrix, the puzzles that force us to question everything we thought we knew about our ancestors. Tonight, we're not just looking at one of these objects. We're looking at what might be the most profound of them all. But what if we're wrong? What if a key to understanding the heavens wasn't invented in our modern age, but was forged in bronze 3,600 years ago? What if the story of scientific discovery isn't a straight line, but a broken circle, containing forgotten peaks of genius that defy our assumptions? This is not just an ancient artifact. This is believed to be the oldest known concrete depiction of the cosmos from anywhere in the world. It's an astronomical device so advanced, it forces us to reconsider what we thought we knew about the ancient world. It comes to us not from the famous academies of Babylon or the philosophical schools of Greece, but from the heart of what was once considered barbarian Europe. And the secrets hidden in its golden symbols are finally being unlocked, revealing a story more complex and mysterious than we ever dared to imagine. Our story begins not in a clean, well-documented archaeological dig, but with a crime. The year is 1999. In the quiet Ziegelrode forest of Saxony-Anhalt, Germany, two men, Henry Westphal and Mario Renner, are sweeping the forest floor with a metal detector. They are not archaeologists. They are treasure hunters, operating illegally, their search a violation of German law which states that all archaeological artifacts are the property of the state. They are searching on and around a place known as the Mittelberg Hill, an unassuming peak rising about 252 meters, but a place with a long history. The hill is encircled by a prehistoric enclosure, a sign that this was a significant location to ancient peoples for centuries. For Westphal and Renner, however, history was a distant second to the potential for profit. Their detector shrieks, signaling a large metallic deposit. They begin to dig, not with the patient tools of a scientist, but with the brute force of a common spade. They hit something hard. Thinking it might be the lid of an old military chest, they pry and hack at it. A chunk of metal breaks away. With a final heave, they pull their find from the earth. It is a dull, greenish disc, about the size of a large dinner plate, caked in mud. At first, they're unimpressed, perhaps thinking it was part of an old shield. But then they clean it, and glints of gold appear. Embedded in the blue-green surface are a large golden circle, a golden crescent, and a scattershot of small golden dots. Along with the disc, their illicit dig unearths two bronze swords of an elegant, ancient design, two axes, a chisel, and fragments of spiral armbands. Westphal and Renner know they have something significant, not because of its historical value, but because of its price tag. They know they're committing a crime, looting. The very next day, they sell the entire hoard to a dealer in Cologne for 31,000 Deutsche Marks. And so, one of the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century disappears into the murky, high-stakes underworld of the black market. For 2 years, the artifact, now known as the Nebra Sky Disc, travels in secret. It changes hands multiple times, its price escalating dramatically, at one point being offered for nearly 1 million Deutsche Marks. Its existence is a rumor, a whisper among collectors and dealers, a ghost of an artifact without provenance or context. Word eventually trickles out by 2001. The official archaeological community in Germany gets wind of this extraordinary object being offered for sale. The state archaeologist for Saxony-Anhalt, a man named Harold Meller, is faced with a nightmare. A priceless piece of his region's heritage, something that could rewrite history, has been stolen and is now being treated like contraband. He knows he has to get it back. But how do you recover an object that is legally yours, but is being held hostage by criminals? Meller and the authorities decide on a bold plan, a sting operation. In February 2002, Meller himself goes undercover, posing as a prospective buyer. A meeting is arranged in the basement of a hotel in Basel, Switzerland, where the deal is supposed to go down. A couple, acting as fences for the sellers, present the disc. At the critical moment, Meller gives the signal, and Swiss police storm the room. The disc is seized, and the couple is arrested. The Nebra Sky Disc was finally safe. It was now in the hands of scientists who could begin the arduous task of deciphering its meaning. But the sting operation was just the beginning. The object had no context. It was unearthed by criminals who had damaged it, tearing it from the archaeological surroundings that could have helped to date and understand it. The first question hanging over the stunning artifact was a deeply troubling one. Was it even real? The moment the Nebra Sky Disc was placed on the examination table, it was met with a chorus of skepticism. It was simply too perfect, too strange, too unlike anything ever found from Bronze Age Europe. When an artifact is so unique it has no parallel, archaeologists rightly become suspicious. The fear of an elaborate forgery loomed large. Richard Harrison, a distinguished professor of European prehistory, voiced a common sentiment, admitting, "When I first heard about the Nebra disc, I thought it was a joke. Indeed, I thought it was a forgery." The controversy soon found a champion. Professor Peter Schauer, an archaeologist from the University of Regensburg, publicly declared the disc a fake. He argued it was nothing more than an amateurish forgery, claiming the beautiful blue-green patina, the layer of corrosion that naturally forms on bronze over millennia, was artificially created in a modern workshop, likely using a blowtorch, acid, and even urine. He also alleged that the neat holes punched around the rim were made not with Bronze Age tools, but by a modern machine. These were serious accusations, and they cast a dark shadow over the find. The story of its discovery by looters only fueled the fire. How could anyone trust the word of convicted criminals? Westphal and Renner eventually led Meller's team to the exact spot on the Mittelberg Hill where they claimed to have found the hoard. But had they told the truth? One theory was that the looters found genuine Bronze Age weapons and planted a modern fake disc with them to inflate the price. Harold Meller and his team at the Halle Institute for Archaeological Research knew they had to prove the disc's authenticity. They began a forensic investigation of unprecedented scale. First, the find spot. When archaeologists excavated the location pointed out by the looters, the hole they dug was obvious. The surrounding soil was a perfect chemical match for the soil found clinging to the disc and the other artifacts. Crucially, microscopic analysis of the earth from the dig site contained minuscule traces of gold and copper, which could only have leached from the artifacts as they lay buried for thousands of years. This was proof. The hoard was buried right here. The looters, for all their crimes, had told the truth about where they found it. Next, the artifact itself. Directly carbon dating metal is impossible. So they turned to the accompanying finds. One of the bronze swords had fragments of birch bark on its hilt, which were radiocarbon dated to between 1600 and 1560 BC. This placed the burial of the horde firmly in the early Bronze Age. Stylistic analysis of the swords and axes confirmed this dating. They were classic examples of artifacts from the Unetice culture, a powerful society that thrived in Central Europe from around 2300 to 1600 BC. But what about the disc? Analysis of the patina that Professor Schauer had claimed was faked proved it to be genuinely ancient. Microphotography revealed crystalline structures within the corrosion that grow over immense spans of time and cannot be artificially replicated. While some debate about its age has resurfaced, the broad consensus confirms the disc is ancient. With its authenticity established, the mystery only deepened. The investigation shifted from proving its age to decoding its purpose. Using X-ray fluorescence, they analyzed the metals. The copper used to make the bronze was traced to a region in the Austrian Alps. The gold of the original phase has been traced to the river Carnal in Cornwall, England. The tin, a crucial ingredient for bronze, also came from Cornwall. This was a bombshell. 3,600 years ago, someone in central Germany orchestrated a massive feat of trade, sourcing materials from the Alps and the far western edge of the known world in Britain. This was the work of the powerful and far-reaching Unetice people. Recent analysis revealed another layer of sophistication. The disc wasn't simply cast. A study in scientific reports showed it was made through a complex hot forging process. Artisans would have started with a bronze blank, then repeatedly heated it to over 700 degrees Celsius, hammered it into shape, and carefully cooled it, a process called annealing, to keep the metal from becoming brittle. This was masterful craftsmanship. The disc was real. It was ancient. But its biggest secrets were not hidden in its bronze, but in the golden symbols that adorned its surface. The investigation was about to turn from the earth to the sky. With the disc's authenticity confirmed, the focus shifted to the golden inlays. At first glance, they seem almost childlike. A big circle, a crescent, and a smattering of dots. But researchers soon realized they were looking at the oldest known concrete depiction of the sky. The first symbols were easy to identify. The large circle is either the sun or a full moon. The crescent shape is unmistakably a crescent moon. The 32 golden dots are stars, but one cluster immediately drew the attention of astronomers. Near the top is a tight grouping of 7 stars. It is the Pleiades, or the 7 Sisters. This star cluster is one of the most recognizable objects in the night sky and has held significance for cultures across the globe for millennia. Its appearance has long been used as a celestial marker for agricultural calendars, and its inclusion was the first hint that this object was more than a map. It was a tool. As researchers studied the disc more closely, they noticed it had been modified. 2 large golden arcs had been added to the sides, hammered from gold with a different chemical fingerprint than the original phase. One of these arcs is missing, ripped off long ago, but its former position is still visible. What did these arcs mean? An astronomer named Wolfhard Schlosser had a flash of insight. He measured the angle spanned by the arcs, 82 degrees. At the latitude of the Middleburg Hill, the angle between the position of the sun at sunset on the summer solstice and sunset on the winter solstice is exactly 82 degrees. This was the aha moment. The Nebra Sky Disc was a functional astronomical instrument. By holding the disc flat and aligning the left arc with the setting sun, an ancient observer on the Middleburg Hill could determine if it was a solstice. The arcs represented the horizon. They had encoded the annual journey of the sun onto a portable object. This was knowledge previously seen in Europe only in massive structures like Stonehenge. The disc was, in essence, a portable Stonehenge. After the arcs were added, there was at least one more addition, another golden arc at the bottom. This one is more stylized, its edges decorated with fine parallel lines. The most widely accepted interpretation connects it to the sun boat or solar barge, a myth found across the ancient world, from Egypt to Scandinavia, depicting the sun's journey through the underworld at night. Its addition merges precise scientific observation with religious myth. For the people of the Bronze Age, there was no separation between science and religion. Observing the cosmos and worshiping it were one and the same. The final modification was perhaps the most enigmatic. Around its perimeter, someone carefully punched a series of 39 or 40 evenly spaced holes. Their purpose is unknown. Perhaps they were used to nail the disc to a standard for a priest king, transforming it from a scientific instrument into a pure symbol of power. Each layer of the disc tells a story of evolving knowledge over several generations. This wasn't the work of one person, but the accumulated wisdom of a culture, refined over hundreds of years before it was finally buried. The Nebra Sky Disc was a map, an observational tool, and a religious icon. But its most profound function may have been something else entirely: a calculator. To understand its true genius, we have to understand a fundamental problem for every ancient agricultural society: keeping track of time. There are two primary ways to measure the year: the sun and the moon. A solar year is roughly 365 days, governing the seasons. A lunar year, based on 12 moon cycles, is only about 354 days long. That's an 11-day difference. If you follow a strict lunar calendar, your seasons will drift. To keep the two in sync, you have to periodically add an extra leap month. But how do you know when? A compelling theory, proposed by Harold Meller and Wolfhard Schlosser, suggests the answer was hidden on the Nebra Sky Disc. They believe the Bronze Age sky watchers followed a simple but brilliant rule. When you see the crescent moon in the sky, looking just like it does on the disc, a thin sliver, and it is right next to the Pleiades star cluster, just as it is shown on the disc. Then it is time to add a 13th month to the year. This specific astronomical event happens in early spring, right at the start of the agricultural season, only once every 2 to 3 years. If correct, this rule is breathtaking in its elegance. It would have allowed the Unetice people to perfectly synchronize their lunar and solar calendars, ensuring festivals and harvests happened at the right time. The disc wasn't just for looking at the sky. It may have been a portable computer for regulating their entire society. This level of astronomical knowledge wasn't supposed to exist in 1600 BC in Central Europe. While great civilizations in Mesopotamia were developing their own complex lunisolar calendars, the Unetice culture, long dismissed as a pre-literate society because they left no written records, seemed to have developed a sophisticated system all their own. The disc is not a complex geared machine like the famous Antikythera mechanism, which would appear over 400 years later, but it represents a portable instrument for astronomical calculation. Who were these people? The Unetice culture was the first true Bronze Age powerhouse north of the Alps. They were master metallurgists who built large settlements and vast trade networks. The Nebra Sky Disc was not a fluke. It was likely the culmination of centuries of accumulated knowledge, commissioned by a powerful ruler who understood that knowledge of the cosmos was the ultimate source of power on Earth. The Nebra Sky Disc was used for generations. It was modified, updated, and revered. It was a repository of knowledge and a sacred object. And then, around 1600 BC, it was buried. It wasn't just hidden. It was ritually interred on the Middleburg Hill with 2 priceless bronze swords, 2 axes, a chisel, and arm spirals. This was a deliberate deposit of valuable objects. But why? This is perhaps the final, most haunting mystery of the Nebra Sky Disc. One theory is that it was a dedication to the gods, a sacrifice of the most valuable object the culture possessed to win divine favor during a time of crisis. Another possibility is that it was a funerary offering for a great ruler, buried to accompany them to the afterlife. But there is a more tragic theory. The date of the disc's burial, around 1600 BC, coincides with the mysterious collapse of the Unetice culture itself. After dominating Central Europe for centuries, their powerful chiefdoms seemed to crumble. Was the disc buried in a desperate attempt to hide it during a time of social upheaval? Was its knowledge becoming too dangerous to possess? This leads to the most profound question. Why was this knowledge lost? How could a society that seemingly mastered the synchronization of lunar and solar time simply disappear and take its wisdom with it? Why did Europe have to wait another 1,000 years for some of these same principles to be rediscovered? The story of the Nebra Sky Disc is a powerful reminder that the story of human progress isn't a straight line pointing ever upward. It is full of brilliant civilizations that rise and fall, and of knowledge that is gained, lost, and sometimes, if we're lucky, found again. The disc is a message in a bottle, a voice from a lost world that speaks of a past far more brilliant than we ever knew. It forces us to look at the ancient world not with condescension, but with a sense of wonder. What other forgotten marvels still lie sleeping beneath the earth? The Nebra Sky Disc proves that our ancestors were far from primitive. They were astronomers, scientists, and masters of their world. If you find these lost histories as fascinating as we do, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the mysteries of the past. And we have a question for you. What do you think is the greatest lost invention or piece of forgotten knowledge from the ancient world? Let us know in the comments below. From its illicit discovery to its recovery in a police sting, from the battle to prove its authenticity to the slow decoding of its golden symbols, the Nebra Sky Disc has told an incredible story. It is an object that shouldn't exist. A map of the cosmos from a time and place we thought was shrouded in darkness. It's a testament to the genius of the Unetice culture, a civilization that, without a written language, nonetheless inscribed their profound understanding of the universe in bronze and gold. It's a tool that may have regulated harvests, a religious icon that blended science and mythology, and a symbol of power for a lost kingdom in the heart of Europe. Included in UNESCO's Memory of the World Register, the Nebra Sky Disc is considered one of the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century. It serves as a stunning rebuttal to the idea that our time is the only time of scientific brilliance. And it reminds us that the quest to understand our place in the universe is as ancient as humanity itself. And it leaves us with the humbling realization that for all we have learned, there are still forgotten chapters of our own story, waiting to be rediscovered.